This programme is brought to you by Vinny.co.uk.
Welcome back to the Champions League pool. Final two matches of the night, and my goodness me, we could be set up for something of a classic. Both have everything to play for here. Heaton Patel versus Mike King is our next match. Chris Melling versus Gio Edgar is our last match. All players at this stage can still qualify for the quarterfinals. The first time we've seen this in 7 groups now of this Champions League. Both Hiten and Gio have to win for that eventuality to happen. We could, Simon, we could have a 4-way shootout, which would be, I cannot tell you how much I'd enjoy it.
Yeah, we could have a 2-way 6-raid shootout. We could have a 4-way shootout. This is there's all things could happen here. It really is. But fans of shootouts, it could well be happening tonight.
Well, those are the odds before the start of the match for Patel versus King. For the start of the night, I should say. Draw no bet odds. Patel back in action. He's creamed a break. It's been a real strange one watching Hiten's break, because he doesn't seem to be contacting them well if you just watch the white. But if you watch the spread, you think he'd be breaking with a hammer. It is remarkable, some of the spreads he's getting.
Yeah, he caught that almost half ball, the cue ball nearly in the right-hand centre pocket. Normally that's, we'd be talking about the split not opening up, but that's come out well.
Raw cue power, isn't it? Testament just raw cue power, bit of timing in there as well. But he really is bludgeoning these. Broken really well all night. Remember, he needs to win to have a chance of qualification. He can only qualify via a shootout. He can only get there by winning this match. Same situation with Gio in our last match.
In fact, all the other players in action tonight are all rooting for Hiten here, because Gio needs him to win, and Chris would very much like him to win.
Yeah, very good point. He's going to be awkward queuing here. This is, oh, he can just slide by. It's a big, tall man who's Heaton Patel, and that's helped him there generate the power needed. That's a great shot. Reaching over a full 7-foot table to play that and get the control he has with his top work. Really nicely played by Heaton Patel. He goes 1-0 up in a must-win eliminator.
A lot of matches tonight start with a break dish or a reverse dish. Here's another one.
Mind what we've already seen in the Champions League pool. These are our first 4 groups from just before Christmas and January as well. Josh Kane, Aaron Davies, Phil Harrison and Neil Raybone setting up a mouth-watering quarter-final group. It will be really, really special, that one. And if we take a look at the second half of the groups as well, in fact, referee's so quick we won't have a chance, but we will get to that in a little bit. It's setting us up so far for something of a murderer's row of quarterfinalists, isn't it? It really is. Just, you cannot pick a winner out of them. It's just going to be entertaining ball, and whoever comes out on top of the night.
Yeah.
It's going to be so difficult to pick a favourite. It's anyone's money in these quarterfinals.
These matches are so volatile that even, you know, like tonight we've got Chris Melling here, and you know, with the bookies on paper, he starts tonight as a big favourite, but what tonight's shown us, that isn't, you can sort of throw that out the window, because the standard of all these players is so high in these short races. Anything can happen, and with such quality players making it through so far from the first 6 weeks, the quarterfinals are shaping up to be incredible. Certainly not to be missed. It was a poor miss from Mike, although not disastrous. Okay, potting the yellow doesn't do any damage. You can pot your opponent's ball. That's fine. I was saying not disastrous because I think the red was blocking the yellow at the top table. I thought the red was blocking the yellow. It obviously wasn't. A chance here for Heaton to go 2-0 up. Just one yellow on the right to work out, and then the two at the bottom left are actually awkward as well. So
remember, Heaton must win this match to have any chance of qualification. Through a shootout format, taking level on points with the man he's playing now, and Chris Melling. He's also relying on Gio Edgar doing him a favour in that last match. The stars sort of have to align, but he'd rule nothing out on tonight's performances from all four players. They've been top-notch. And Hiten there can't find the pot, at least on his own colour set. He's trying to put this yellow into the middle. The red going into the bottom corner actually doesn't really matter. It's the miss that will annoy him the most. It brings Mike to the table here. No foul. And he turns the table over. I think Mike just tried to skill shot him back there, but nothing doing. And he's opened this up here for Hiten. Obviously didn't want to take his extension so early in the match, but might have been a crucial juncture in hindsight.
yeah, he rushed that shot massively, didn't he? He was trying to get this red to cover this pocket and stop that. He wanted to stop Heaton having any aggressive shot to play at all, and all he managed to do was open everything up, and now this really is a great chance for 2-0. Would have preferred a fraction more angle on this. Needs to, I don't think that, well, the 8-ball doesn't go into the right centre pocket, so he wants to try and get it to the right corner pocket. May screw back now for a different choice.
Oh, and ended up in no man's land.
It was all to do with that previous shot where he just left himself just a fraction straight. Should still make this, but it's a lot harder than he wanted it to be.
Yeah, perfectly played by Heaton Patel. Knew it was in straight away, just had to be wary of the cue ball, but that was never in doubt. Really good pressure pot from Heaton Patel. And as mentioned, here's the second half of the draw in the Champions League pool. We've seen Sean Storey qualify. We saw Dave McNamara qualify through last week. He looked brilliant, didn't he? And from tonight, 1 of 4, and it is still 1 of 4 despite this late juncture. And next week, where we talk about a murderer's row in the quarterfinal lineup, Group 8 is as big a group of death in pool as you could ever really make at a group stage of a tournament. In Declan Brennan, Dylan Leary, Mick Hill, and Shane Thompson. Just try and sell us that one, Simon, because there are 4 players who are so ridiculously talented. It's going to be so entertaining.
It really is. Headlined, of course, by Mick Hill, one of the greats of the game, 6 times world champion. But any one of those 4 players, you would not be surprised if they didn't just win that group and go through, but they won the whole event. 4 very talented pool players. And certainly the toughest group we'll see of the 8, and we've already seen some very tough groups.
Yeah, that doesn't discount a group that had Neil Rayburn and Jordan Shepherd in it. Mike King here, looking to make headway. Still a lot on the line for him. He's not eliminated, of course, if Heaton Patel wins. He's still in with a shout, but he's relying on Gio Edgar winning his match against Chris Melling to force a 4-way shootout. Mike King with a draw eliminates Heaton Patel and goes top of the group, but again is still relying on Chris Melling not beating Gio Edgar. If Mike King wins, Chris Melling wins, we'll have a 2-way shootout. Either way, it's pretty good odds of a shootout. Not had one yet. Be fitting as we get towards the latter stages and stakes are raised ever higher. 10 grand to the winner of this tournament, don't forget. No players have put in money for that. It's all sponsorship.
Yeah, I've talked about this a bit in previous weeks. That's big news for the pool world, and it's a big prize pot.
It's an attractive prize pot. It really is. Well, Mike King, let's go back within one. Nicely played. 12 minutes left then of this penultimate match of the night, and Heaton Patel leads by 2 frames to 1. Neither of these players at the moment, Simon, you'd say are breaking spectacularly. Obviously Mike's had his problems, as we've seen with that second match against Chris, but Heaton there with a dry break, and I suppose you'd say that's been coming the way he's been breaking. You can't consistently get good spreads with bad contacts. Your luck will run out at some stage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But even with the dry break, they're opening up enough that Mike was able to punish that, make the reverse dish. Well, it's one of the things we've seen all night long, isn't it? That the players who are getting their first opportunity are taking it more often than not. Really high standard tonight.
Yeah, it's been one of the highest we've seen, for sure. Oh, that 8 ball was close to that bottom corner pocket, wasn't it? And that was a good break by Mike King. That's the best he's hit in a long time tonight. Best he's hit since that first match, I dare say. And he's still come up dry, and that's a frustrating one for him, because this spread is pretty good if you're Heaton Patel.
Got 20 seconds, or had 20 seconds to make his mind up, which isn't a lot, because both these colour sets had their merits, but he's made his decision to go reds. Fairly open here, a little cluster around the middle. They look a little bit congested, but they all unfold. He'd like to be able to just drop this in and stay on one of the other ones to the top left. May not be able to do that from this angle. He couldn't, which is why he's played the little cannon. But he's finished too close to his work. This is now awkward.
He's slithered his way up the table like a salamander to Patel to try and squeeze that in. It is not quite going to happen. Talked earlier about him reaching the full length of the table. He's a big, tall man, is Hiten. That took some dexterity that I wasn't sure was in his locker. He's unlucky in the end. It's a good skill shot from Mike King to reverse and just take the ball off the table, and now Hiten's in a bit of bother.
Yeah, of course, international 8-ball rules, you can pot your opponent's ball as long as you hit your ball first and your opponent comes to the table and just plays from where the ball has finished. And as you can see, he's left it in a very safe position. You can see this red, but there's not a lot he can do with it. He's now seeing if he can play this off the yellow at the bottom of the table.
This would be some shot. Oh, this would be some shot. Oh, stop that, Heaton Patel. What a shot that is.
That's brilliant. Oh, we've seen some breathtaking shots tonight, and that is right up there.
Oh, that is some shot. In the circumstances when he's playing for his life in this tournament, to whip that out at this juncture, hats off.
This is a little bit more awkward than it looks. He has to avoid the yellows to try and get back out for the 8-ball. Oh, he plain balled it. I thought he was hitting the yellow then. He's fine. What a shot that was to win this frame. Absolutely brilliant.
That's one of the best shots we've seen in the tournament. It really is.
Frame.
And to pull it out, again, the timing of it. Absolutely amazing. Have another watch of this. Absolutely as played. That is stunning. Simon, just try and illustrate for those maybe not in the know of how difficult a shot that is to play, because I've seen you play, you still are, I think, a really, really good player. That is really odds against.
Yeah, anyone that's played billiards would know that sort of shot. So imagine if you were playing the cue ball onto the red in the middle of the table or the yellow in the middle of the table to try and pot it into the corner. It would be hard, but you'd get it in a nice area. But then you've got to play a pot onto that ball it makes it a very difficult shot. And Mike King was more than happy to leave Hiten that shot, and this time it's backfired, but it's certainly more often than not Mike would have earned an opportunity from that.
He was almost forced to take it on as well.
That's the dangerous thing in pool, and especially in this format of the game. If you're leaving your opponent no other shot, then they are going to take something like that on, and these guys are so good, they are going to make them from time to time, so you are going to get punished when you play that sort of shot. You just have to tell yourself that the percentages are on your side.
Red balls in play.
Well, Hiten with a breaking off the ball in off the break there, was in a great position to go and win the match. Came up dry. It was a good hit as well. Being a little frustrated not to have made a ball there, but Mike King is still scrapping away for his life hit. Oh, but that's an unfortunate one. Now then, it's awkward queuing, but Mike King knows he should have made that. And Heaton Patel now has got a chance. It is not an easy one, but a chance to put himself in contention to go through to the quarterfinals. Remember, Hiten has to win this match. Only way he can qualify is through a shootout. To tie at the top of the table, it would need a four-way tie, and it's got a shout.
The opening shot in this visit was fantastic. Had to play that with a little bit of side to drift down to the bottom of the table. Margin of error was tiny. And that's another good shot as well. Knew he wasn't going to be able to get back out into good position on that one on the bottom cushion. Accepted the tricky shot, so he's got one more tough positional shot to play. And that is onto the yellow on the left-hand side. He's having a look now. I wonder if he's landed on it.
I was just wondering that, actually. It looks like he can. Yeah, there's your answer. Oh, it was a tough shot, though. And Mike King has a big, big let-off.
I think there's an argument to say you could have left this for your last ball. The problem with playing it the way he did, getting out for the rest of the finish was going to be tough. If it goes in and he lands on his next ball, then yeah, the routine's there, the finish is there. But because of where the yellow is in the centre of the table, if he had left that as his second last ball and he was straight on it, he was guaranteed to get that, the angle onto the ball on the side cushion. And from there, all he has to do is make the pot, because the 8 would be sitting there waiting for him. So, but can't argue about against him taking it on the way he did.
Yeah, it was just dangled the carrot, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he played for it the way it landed, but he probably felt he landed on it, so had to take it.
Oh! Now then, I just think Mike King's got a little bit jittery out there. It's another pot you back him to make, and on tonight's evidence, you would never think for a moment that he was missing it. I just think it's got a little bit nervy out there.
Key shot. Get the transition from the top to the bottom right. Should be plain sailing.
It looks a little bit thin. We should be able just to hold it.
I wasn't actually sure if this top one passed the other one. The fact it does makes that previous shot a lot easier.
Heaton Patel is doing all he can to stay in this competition. He goes joint top of the table with Mike King and with Chris Melling. Everything now is on our final match. We've got a shout of a four-way shootout, and it's enlarged thanks to a shot like this. What a pot in the circumstances from the hitman.
That was either, if that shot doesn't go in, it's 2-2, isn't it? And it ends up being 3-1. And then he wraps it up with that 4-1. It was a lovely, it's an incredible shot, one of the best shots we've seen in the tournament, let alone tonight. But it is going to make things very interesting going into this last match of the night.
Yeah, doesn't it just? The next match is Chris Melling against Gio Edgar. If Chris Melling wins it, he's through to the quarterfinals. If Gio Edgar wins it, we've got a four-way 6-red shootout. I know who the neutrals are opting for. We'll see after the break.
programme is brought to you by Vinny.co.uk.